Amigos del Cuartel del Metal, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo les va? Bienvenidos una vez más aquí al canal. Los invito a suscribirse para estar siempre al pendiente de todo lo que sucede en el mundo del rock y el metal. El día de hoy estamos con Max Koliesny de Crisium para hablar de Mortem Solis, el nuevo disco de la banda. Max, again, it's great to see you today. How are you?
I'm doing good, my brother. Good. Yeah, very nice to talk to you.
Great. Well, great to have you. An absolute pleasure. I've been following Christian's career for a long time now. So, first of all, congratulations on the
Nice,
release of
nice.
Mortem Solis. We did a review the day the album came out, and it was extremely positive, I must tell you.
Cool.
Uh, so,
Thank you. Thank you.
so
I have
far,
to check it.
yes, I can send it to you when we finish if you want. So,
Awesome.
how have you felt the fan base response, to the album so far?
It's been very good, very good, man. I would say that the real fans, the real Christian fans, are really happy with the album. I would say that Morton Solis it has all the true elements that made Crescent to be what Crescent is. You know, it's
Mhm.
very is raw, it's organic, it's fast, straightforward, and it's pure metal, it's pure death metal, like with the old school death metal influences. And I mean, it's real Crescent. So I guess that the real fans are very happy with the final result, and the responses has been great.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to mention that if there's something that screams out Christian is the pummeling sound that the record has got, and of course one of the most important elements is the drumming, extremely fast when it has to be, groovy at times as well. I would like to ask you,
Yeah.
how do you look at the evolution of your sound after 12 albums in? It's been 12 records, not yet.
Well, man, it's hard to say because we are the kind of band that we we try to stay always loyal to our roots as a death metal band. For us, it's very important. I mean, we made a few changes here and there, especially with some of the albums we did, like a Forged in Fury, The
Hmm.
Great Execution. But overall, we always kept the kind of the same formula, which is to play brutal death metal, old school, and straightforward music. But well, I would say that we are better musicians nowadays. We're more mature, and especially with the new one, we try to make it more dynamic,
Hmm.
more like we try to cut off a lot of the stuff that we thought would be unnecessary in our music. Like sometimes, like you repeat the same pattern or the same riff like 4 or 6 times. Then we decided let's just play 2 or 3 times, make it shorter and more straight to the point. And well, I think that's the one of the main differences on the new album is that we make it more dynamic. And but like the the true essence it's the same. I mean, we always try to make a better album than the previous one, but in the end it's just like the three guys jamming and having fun, playing together and playing from the heart, from the soul, and trying to make the kind of music we love to play and we love to listen to. So that's the formula is the same, the process of writing music is the same. So no, I mean, we haven't changed a lot, I'd say, since Black Force Domain till nowadays.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And well, of course, I think that's also what the fans want to hear on your music. In spite of those the dynamics that you mentioned, for example, the beginning of Necronomical, there's a great groove there. Of course,
Oh
then
yeah, it's
it,
yeah,
it
yeah.
explodes in speed. But I'd like to tackle the ambience building in certain parts. For example, the certain tribal influence in Dawn Sun Carnage and a lot of atmosphere also in the intro part of Temple of the Abattoir. How did you build that particular section? That interlude, and of course the track um, that follows.
Well, man, it's we always had this inspiration from battles and war and carnage and bloodshed, and that it's like we feel like we are making the soundtrack for all this disgrace and terror and war and bloodshed that happens in the world. So that kind of vibe inspired us
Mhm.
to play this kind of music and to come up with this kind of intros. And of course, the I would say like the music on the new album, it is very brutal. It is fast, but to me, there's a lot of it's like a mix of like real metal riffs, like for some of the songs where Moises comes up with this. You listen to the riff, it sounds like classic metal music, and then
Mhm.
we mix it up with brutality, and then
Cool.
comes up all the brutality and the speed. But I would say like Crimson is a cross of all those elements, like the brutality and the speed of death metal. But we have a lot of influences from the old school metal, and we always come up with this kind of riffs and intros and all this kind of feeling and vibes in our music.
Awesome. Well, Max, the artwork in this case was in charge of Marcelo Vasco, a very well-renowned artist. Last record you went with
Yes.
Cantor, certainly surrounding yourself with big names there. So I would like to ask two questions for you. How was the process of the latest album cover made, and why did you decide to name the record Mortem Solis?
Well, it's no big secret. The beginning of it all when we started to write the album last year, mid 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, before we started to put the music together, we talked and we felt inspired and angry, and we wanted to make this album uh, more brutal than the previous ones. We wanted to make it like very like an attack, like with the inspired by battle and fighting and all this. And so then we had the concept for the lyrics, uh, which it's a lot about war and Armageddon,
Yeah.
everything in the fighting that like being in a band like Crimson for 30 years for us, we feel like we are death metal gladiators. Like we've been fighting for death metal forever, and it's not just being about playing the music we love, but fighting for it, because death metal is full of ups and downs, and we never give up. We just keep moving forward no matter what. And it's related to the lyrics, to
Yeah.
reality, sometimes a little bit of fantasy, so everything is connected. So we had the concept, like with the music and the lyrics and the gladiator thing, the thing about war and battle and Armageddon. And then we send a few images, like we had like gladiators in the battlefield, all of it, and some of the music and some of the lyrics to Marcelo, and he comes up with that beautiful,
Cool.
amazing artwork. And the
Great work.
first idea he had, we were like, man, this is the perfect cover for the album. Then that's how we did it. And then like Mortem Solis in Latin is the death of the sun,
Yes.
which is for us like basically the end of life. Uh, is the Armageddon, the apocalypse. We live in a world where the whole history has been written on bloodshed. Everywhere man goes, there's a trail of blood. Right now, there is like wars happening. There is like a people, a shitty piece of shit leaders dropping bombs in innocent
Yeah,
people,
man.
or like no matter for people, we are human beings are self-destructive species. We like to separate us by race, by religion, by creed, everything. People hate each other. We live in a world of hate, and so the the death of the sun is coming. There's no
Yeah.
way, there's no escape. Human beings we all deserve to die at some point. We are getting close to the end.
Yeah, man, it's hard to hear, but it's true in certain aspects. You mentioned a couple of examples, and they all apply. So, but well, going back to the cover, I think it really invites you to check out what in spite, the name Christian is already super well known in the metal community. It really attracts you visually also to listen to the record. So Max, I think no one can deny that maybe after Sepultura, you're the most prolific band from Brazil, and one of the most well known in Latin America, and that speaks of course of an amazing hard work. I would like to know to ask you if you remember the first days before you got signed to Century Media and everything. How was it like for you to start growing in the metal scene in Brazil?
Oh man, we, the thing is, we grew up in the south,
Hmm?
south of Brazil, and when I was a teenager, I was already like, I was learning how to play, and my brothers, Moises and Alex, they started before me, so we already had this idea of putting a band together, and then just in a matter of like a year, we decided, to leave everything behind and focus only in the band. That's what we did in 1992. Then we decided to move to São Paulo. I would say, like, São Paulo is the real start for us. We 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 formed the band in the south. Chrism was formed in the south when we were like teenagers. We're like, let's have a band together. But we're just learning, and we did like a couple of shows here and there. But then when we decided to move to São Paulo, that's when things got really serious for us, because we
Yeah.
left everything behind. I had a job, school, uh, family. We left everything behind just to move up to São Paulo and start trying to make a living, only focus in the band. And we did it. I mean, in the beginning, when we moved up here, we were living in a tiny apartment, the three of us, and we had a second guitar player for a few months. Then he quit. uh,
Hmm.
and we are like, just we recorded the first demo, and then trying to book shows, because here in São Paulo everything happens here, like record labels, shows and bands and contacts, everything was here. Nowadays it's
Yeah.
different because we have internet, but back in the 1992 everything was different. We had to talk to people, we had to go to the places, have to travel, and send trade tapes with everybody, and all of it. And then we are kind of playing everywhere. Life was hard, because we had no day job, so we had like do whatever we could to make money. Like I was teaching drums, Moises teach guitars, Alex would do something else. He was even like a bouncer in some clubs here in São Paulo, and
Hmm.
that's how we made it happen. Just we never ever lost focus. Even like first years very hard, very tough, but we were always happy because we are living here in São Paulo, and the priority for us, the main priority in our lives was the band. And it has been like this
Yeah.
forever, since the beginning.
Yeah. It looks
I
where it
think
got
that
you.
that was the secret for us, because usually, most of the times have a band where like two, three guys are focused, and then the other guys are not so focused, and then that you can spoil everything if somebody in the band is not 100%,
Mm.
you know, uh, focused and dedicated to the band. So yeah, the first 2 years were like that. We were like trading tapes, sending letters, and playing like every shit hole around the city. We would play for 10 people. Next time we'd play for 20 people, and then more people, and then people were getting more interested, because in the beginning of the 90s here, especially here in Brazil, uh, I mean everywhere, like metal was going down, because all the bands from the 80s were slowing down their music. All this grunge, new metal thing was
Yeah.
getting really big, and everybody was jumping in the wagon of the trend wagon. Everybody was changing their music. They want to play more soft or more commercial, whatever. And then we came here and we were playing, this brutal, old school, savage death metal, and that's how people get interested in us because people need it. I think people are hungry. They're
Yes.
looking for a band like us here. Like, man, this guys are fucking savages playing death metal, and then that's when the labels, local small labels, got interested on release or material. Have the first split LP by Dynamo Records here in
Yeah.
Brazil. And then we recorded Unmerciful Order, which is an EP by Dynamo Records again. And then we recorded Black Force Domain, and that's when things really happened for us. When we had an offer from Gun Records, the German label, and we had the first offer to tour in Europe with Creator and Dimo Borger, and then then the rest we just kept going.
Yeah. It has been nonstop since there for sure.
No, never stopped, man. since
Great.
since we released Black Force Domain by the German label Gun Records, and then we had the first tour offer, we never stopped. Well, we stopped by the pandemic.
Well, yeah.
Unfortunately, we were forced to have a break.
Yeah. It was there was no escape from that, unfortunately.
No, yeah, unfortunately, yes, fucking bad times. But
Yeah.
luckily, we're back
Yeah.
and on the road again, and so real life. Everybody, I guess, everybody is happy to be back on to the real life. People are coming out. I can see like at the shows we have been playing, people are happy. I can see the fans are having fun, seeing their friends, sharing beer. Yeah, I mean that's the real life. So
Yes, absolutely. And I wanted to ask you about a particular run you gave that was the South American tour with Belphegor, Nervochaos, and Crypta.
Oh yeah.
And well, unfortunately, the Mexican leg of the tour couldn't be carried out, but we'll get to that later. But first of all, tell me what the tour around this part of the world was like again. Well, you had played before. I'm in Argentina, particularly. But I couldn't catch you this time. I could catch you before with Scourge of the Enthroned. This time because of work, I couldn't attend to the show.
Okay.
But how was the tour in general like?
Dude, the tour was amazing. We were so happy and excited, to have the chance to tour again, especially here in South America, which we are all brothers. I mean, we are all metal brothers everywhere. Europe or South America, Central America, whatever. But here, like our Latin
Yes.
brothers, what's the best way to get back on tour? So I was so happy and excited. Every single show of this tour were really amazing. The show in Argentina was fucking amazing. Had a great time. The crowd was going crazy. Had such a great time, man. It was like the best feeling I could ever have. After all this pandemic bullshit,
Awesome.
and yeah, every show was packed. I could see, I could tell, I can tell that the crowds were happy. Everybody was just having a great time. As I said before, getting back to the real life. That's amazing, man.
Perfect. And well, in Mexico, I understand there was some sort of problems with the visas or something like that.
Well, the thing is now Mexico have a new rule for Brazilians, and if you're Brazilian, you need a visa to get in the country. I mean, like some of the people, like us, in Christian, we have the North American visa, so it's valid to enter Mexico. But most of the people in the other bands, they didn't
Oh,
have uh, North America or a US or a Mexican visa, so we were forced to cancel. Actually, it's postponed, and it's going to happen in December.
yes. And well, I wanted to ask you about that because we have also some audience from Mexico, and you'll be
Awesome.
visiting again in December with Nervochaos and Crypta.
Yes.
And now
Yes.
we'll be with the new record officially out. So what can the Mexicans expect of that run?
Well, we're gonna play a bunch of the new songs, and we are already playing. We just play a bunch of festivals, a few festivals in Europe, and we are playing the new songs already. And so it's gonna be a mix of the old stuff, old songs from Black Force Domain until nowadays. It's hard to have to play songs from every album, but we're gonna make sure we're gonna play a bunch of the old stuff and a bunch of the new stuff. So it's gonna be a brutal and exciting show, and I hope people will like it.
Great. Well, I hope everyone there can attend and that in maybe short term you can return to a South American tour again. It would be great for
Yeah, I
sure.
hope so, man. Next year, hopefully
Yes,
next year, we're gonna make a tour in South America and
awesome.
play the new songs because the tour we just did, we are still on
Yes,
playing only songs before Mortem Solace because the album is not released yet.
that's right. That's right. So let's hope that to have you again next time for sure. I'm sure you
Yeah,
will.
it's gonna happen for sure, man. That's gonna happen. Can't wait, man, to go back.
Fantastic. Well, Max, those were all the questions I had for you today.
Okay.
Thank you very much again for your
Thank
time.
you, my
And
brother.
if
Thank you
there's
so much
anything else
for
you'd like to add to the people watching here in South America, anything else you'd like to say?
I just would like to thank you all, man. Thank you all the real metalheads that have supported us and supported Underground. And if we stick together, we we keep strong. That's very important. That if you like this kind of music, go to the shows. And sometimes people are kind of lazy. Like, I would like to stay home. And but after this pandemic, there's no chance you can't be lazy because we never know what's gonna happen tomorrow. So make sure you attend all the underground shows and support bands because it's very important for us, and it's very important to make the scene, keep the scene alive and strong. And well, thank you very much for the support, and I hope to see you all soon. I see you soon, brother.
Yes,
Maybe next
absolutely,
year.
absolutely. Bye bye.
Take care, man. Goodbye.